Attempts to contact the dead are both sinful and futile according to biblical teachings. The Bible condemns Spiritism as it represents a paganistic departure from God. Isaiah once asked, "And when they say to you, 'Consult the mediums and the wizards who whisper and mutter,' should not a people consult their God? Should they consult the dead on behalf of the living?" Isaiah 8:19. This rhetorical question underscores the folly and sinfulness of seeking counsel from the dead instead of relying on God. Spiritism is also identified as a work of the flesh. Paul lists sorcery among the evils in Galatians 5:19 ff. The Greek term for sorcery, pharmakeia, originally referred to the use of drugs, but came to be associated with magical arts and false spiritual practices. James McKnight explains that it refers to those arts of incantation and charming and all the pretended communications with invisible malignant powers, whereby heathen priests promoted the reverence and worship of their idol gods and enriched themselves. Thus, Spiritism is aligned with false and harmful practices that are contrary to Christian faith. Furthermore, efforts to communicate with the dead are futile. Ecclesiastes 9:5-6 states that the dead know not anything under the sun, indicating that they are not aware of earthly events. As Dean comments, "What passes upon the earth affects them, the dead not. The knowledge of it reaches them no longer." Similarly, Isaiah 63:16 emphasizes the need to trust solely in Jehovah, declaring that Abraham knows us not, implying that even the patriarch is unaware of earthly activities and unable to assist the living. The Bible also teaches that the dead cannot reveal the secret counsels of God. Deuteronomy 29:29 explains that God's will is made known through his divine law, not through communication with the dead. The story of the Rich Man and Lazarus, Luke 16:19-31, illustrates that the dead cannot bring spiritual admonitions from their abode. The rich man suffering in the afterlife wished to warn his living brothers but was unable to do so. Lazarus too was not permitted to return to the earthly realm. The biblical testimony is clear. The scriptures are sufficient to prepare men for death, and seeking to communicate with the dead is both sinful and futile. Human fascination with death and the afterlife is as old as time itself. Across cultures and epochs, people have sought ways to communicate with those who have passed on, seeking solace, guidance, or simply a glimpse beyond the veil. This enduring quest to connect with the dead has manifested in various forms, from ancient necromantic rituals to modern-day seances. However, these practices should be examined critically, as the Bible explicitly condemns them. Necromancy, the practice of communicating with the dead, has roots in ancient civilizations. The word itself derives from the Greek words nekros, dead, and manteia, divination, highlighting its association with magic and the supernatural. In ancient Egypt, priests acted as intermediaries between the living and the dead, performing elaborate rituals to consult with deceased pharaohs and seek their guidance. Similarly, in ancient Greece, necromancers were consulted for advice, prophecies, and even curses, often operating in shadowy realms and feared for their powers. The practice of necromancy was not without its risks. Ancient texts often depict necromancers as individuals who tread a dangerous path, risking spiritual and physical peril in their pursuit of knowledge from the dead. The Greek myth of Orpheus, who descended into the underworld to retrieve his beloved Eurydice, serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of disturbing the dead and the importance of respecting the boundaries between the living and the afterlife. Despite the risks, necromancy persisted throughout history, fueled by a potent combination of fear, curiosity, and the desire to connect with lost loved ones. From ancient Mesopotamia to the Roman Empire, individuals sought out necromancers for various reasons, ranging from seeking guidance from deceased relatives to uncovering hidden knowledge or even cursing their enemies. The practice, though often condemned by religious authorities, continued to thrive in the shadows, a testament to the enduring human fascination with the afterlife. The 19th century witnessed a resurgence of interest in communicating with the dead, fueled by the rise of spiritualism. This movement emphasized the ability to communicate with spirits through mediums and seances. Seances, often held in darkened rooms, became a popular means of contacting the dead. Figures like the Fox sisters and Helena Blavatsky captivated public imagination with their claims of spirit communication. Despite accusations of fraud, spiritualism flourished, attracting a diverse following. In a time of upheaval, spiritualism offered comfort, hope, and a sense of connection to a realm beyond the material world. The belief in spirit communication and contacting the dead persists in the 21st century, with varying degrees of acceptance and skepticism. Surveys suggest a significant portion of the population believes in communicating with the dead. A 2005 Gallup poll found nearly 1 in 4 Americans believed in necromancy, while a 2019 Pew survey revealed 15% had consulted a psychic or medium. Reasons for this belief range from personal experiences and cultural influences to psychological factors and the human desire for comfort. Some believe due to personal encounters with the unexplained, like sensing a deceased loved one's presence. However, skepticism remains, with critics attributing belief to psychological factors, wishful thinking, and fraud. They argue that such phenomena can often be explained through mundane means like cold reading and suggestion. Regardless of public opinion, Christians are called to adhere to biblical teachings, which unequivocally denounce attempts to communicate with the dead. By examining the motivations behind these practices and understanding their spiritual implications, we can reaffirm the biblical stance that true solace and guidance come from God alone, not from the futile and sinful attempts to contact the dead.